Hello, I'm Jeff Megan.
And I'm David Tobin. And we're two composers, two continents. We're going to throw open the doors on our world as composers.
So today is the first part of a three-part pod where we talk about the start-to-finish process of a song called Who'd Have Believed, which is off our new big band album, which is
Keep on Moving. So part one, we're going to talk about the writing, how we wrote it, and about creating the demo, getting it to that point. Part two, next time, we're going to talk about the actual recording of it, and then we'll move on to the post-production in part three.
exciting post-production.
So why don't we start with the brief?
First, it should be said that we recorded the album for Audio Network, which is a production music company.
Yeah.
So the brief for the big band album as a whole was something like this. Not just something like this. It was actually
Read it out. This is exactly what we were given.
Focus on strong, positive, syncable message supported by classical, tight big band arranging, variety in terms of the lyrical subjects. A few tracks with positive messages surrounding love, relationships, and romance, and then a few more similar to I Got Rhythm and Good News, which outline more general, upbeat, positive feelings. Happiness, sunshine, dancing.
And there were a few references. They mentioned I Got Rhythm, as you said, and Mac the Knife, and then the Harry Connick Jr. track, It Had to Be You. And that became an important part, which we'll get to.
That's an old tune too, right? So
yeah. So why don't we move on, now that we know what the brief was that we were aiming for, let's talk about the overview of the process to get to the end of this part, what we're going to be covering. So first off, obviously, we've got to write a song.
right.
But then we haven't just got to write it. We've got to create a demo that works as a demo, that we love, that we're sold on.
Yeah.
If you had to perform it that way with a piano and a vocal, we've got a demo. Then we've got to sell it to the publisher and make sure they love it as much as we love it before we move on. Let's talk about the writing. Let's start with the idea.
The beginning of the beginning. For this tune, I had put together an idea. Actually, I just started singing. I was probably walking the dogs or doing the dishes or something like that.
Yeah.
And sung a little something into my phone as a voice memo, which was a pretty firm idea of some melodic things and themes and, of the head.
Have you ever loved like me? Some lies upon the dog will caramelize.
And then what I do is sit down with Logic, and because Logic has the memo thing, you can write the notes right in there.
Okay.
So I put the lyrics all in there. So I sit down with Logic, and then I have Rhyme Zone open, and I bring over a microphone, and
And blah, 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 blah.
and blah, 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 blah.
But did it start as Who'd Have Believed? Is that where the initial hook that you came up with?
The initial thing was Take It From Me. I think that was the original idea.
Something like that. Yeah.
So, and then really, with all these songs, regardless of whether it's for production music or this is certainly going to be heard streaming and for all kinds of different things, right? I think it has to be personal. If it's a song, it has to be personal.
So what was it about? Where did the lyrics?
It always ends up being about life, right? So this ended up being about me and my wife. So these are the lyrics. Birds and bees, flowers and trees, like everything that belongs together, were meant to be. Oh, who'd have believed? So it's a lot of imagery. And also, so being a singer, when you sit down and I start writing these things, it's got to sing. It's got to, and that obviously I just read that off, but that could have taken a half an hour. And I know, I just changed things off. And sometimes I try and match the syllables or even the consonants that I hit in a voice demo.
The feeling of the period that those words, birds and bees, as soon as you hear that, it feels quite classic.
Yeah.
But that was the whole point, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we're aiming for. Something that feels like recorded now, but
is, feels like now, but it has a vintage feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's got to sound like, in my head, it's got to sound like either Ella Fitzgerald is singing it or Nat King Cole. I mean, those are the two voices I always hear.
Right.
So, like a river flows through canyons slow. I like that line there. We dance through songs written for young lovers. Oh, who'd have believed? When we first met, I realized you were way out of my league, but I took a chance that you'd romance with me.
Was that how that started, that part? Because wasn't it a Smitten thing? There was a...
Originally, so you're bouncing forward a bit, but you had requested and made a change to the chordal structure of the middle eight and where it was going to go. And so I had sung something, kind of like it. When we first met, I was smitten, but you were way out of my league. So once we made that change, I kind of altered the lyrics a little bit to fit in there. So then there's references to dancing on the floor. We danced slowly cheek to cheek. Trish and I, my wife Trish, we did a dance in a show, cheek to cheek, a couple of years later after we were already married. So I guess the point of it is just being that it's got to be personal, I mean, even if it doesn't mean anything to anyone else, as a writer's point of view, right? It's got to mean something to you. After that is done, I will sit there and maybe I'll have drums, right? Maybe a bass line, maybe sometimes just the voice, and I will get the whole idea out and then ship it off to you.
Birds and bees, flowers and trees, like everything that belongs together, we're meant to be. Oh, who'd have believed? Like rivers flow through canyons slow, we dance through songs written for young lovers. Lucky me. Oh, who'd have believed?
It's always that exciting point. I know I'm going to get something, and I mean, sometimes I'll come up with an idea, but in this case, this is your idea. And usually a reaction is, it's pretty immediate. I don't know about you, but you kind of know I either like it or I don't. I mean, I might be able to work with something, but I have a sort of visceral...
Yeah, absolutely.
It either resonates or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And in this case, I heard this, and I just knew that this was something that we were going to be able to create something special with. But you are right. I started chording it out, and I think from the first time I heard it, I listened a couple more times and started thinking... what really resonates with me about this? One of the most immediate things that resonated was this idea of a rhetorical question, this who'd have believed?
Who'd have believed?
And so to be able to do something with the band that answered that phrase. Because I know that when I'm creating it chordally and I'm working with the piano, I'm working with the piano, but I know that's not where it's ending up. So it's got to be something that's going to be able to resonate, got to be able to work as an orchestration.
Do you ever start singing lines out loud, or how do you do it? Do you always play it, or do you just
I sing,
internalize it? Or
I don't think I've ever sent you the voice memos because I'm not sure you'd want to hear them, but
thank you.
I am. But I sing stuff. I'll also move to a piano rather than a keyboard, start playing lines. I'll sing them. I'll play them into Logic and just see whether they work against the vocal. It's all about how they fit against the vocal. But I often start chordally. I've got to understand the chord structure and whether that's going to work for me, whether it works in the style, but also whether it moves me, whether it just feels right.
You've referenced before how the melody influences, it gives a clue into what harmonic changes are going to be there. But what I always find interesting about what you do is taking, using the chords that were the appropriate chords for a 1940s big band tune, and what they used back then, which... Yeah,
that's all about listening, isn't it? I mean, you listen and you listen some more and it becomes part of your psyche. But it's interesting you should mention the 40s, because in my head, this wasn't when this should have been, and wasn't when it meant. But that became important to me, because when I listened to what you first sent me, I mean, you know this, but the whole of the rest of the tune said early 60s to me. It just felt like that period, and I wanted to reference that. But the middle eight, I had a problem with the middle eight, because the middle eight, which is why I kind of jumped the gun a bit earlier and mentioned about this line when I first, what was the line about smitten? How was it before?
When we first met, I was smitten.
When we first met, I was smitten, but you were way out of my league. I took a chance and walked over, you were as nice as can be.
It just felt, it felt earlier.
Older.
It felt 40s and not 60s. The word smitten was again, I found it jolting from the rest of the sort of conversational nature of what you were doing with the rest of it. Yeah, and it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I remember Jeff would have been asleep at this point because that great thing about being 6-hour time differential between us.
For those who don't know, I'm in Chicago and David is in
I'm
Yorkshire.
in Yorkshire.
Yes.
And so there's this great 6-hour thing where I can have an early morning coffee and not feel guilty about about what I'm supposed to be doing. But it also means that when I'm doing my thing, it's not in real time.
Yeah.
So I recorded that whole middle section, that whole middle 8, and came up with some ideas of the melody, of what the melody should be. I don't know whether we went with my melody or not, but in my head I'd come up with some stuff that just felt like it wasn't anachronistic to
what
forward
had come. Couple of years.
Couple of decades. Yeah. And then I shipped that off to you and sent it. And then at that stage, you revocaled it, didn't you?
I was like, yeah, this sounds fantastic. What a nice change. And yes, re-sung the stuff in the middle. And I don't know, I think I'd sent drums in the original thing that you probably just played over.
When we first met, I realized you were way out of my league. But I took a chance that you would romance with me. Soon we were dancing out on the floor, slowly cheek to cheek. What an affair in that moment, I'd swear that I'd never be without you again. The sun and moon, the warmth of June.
Now we've got to the point where we got a song.
Yeah.
We got the chords.
Yeah.
We got the whole structure. And now we start to arrange, right? Is that the next?
Okay, so let's talk arranging.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is it going to be a male vocal? Is it going to be a female vocal?
Right.
Not just from the perspective of the key, but the feel and how that's going to be. I think we both felt from the lyric, it felt like a female
From the
vocal.
beginning, yeah.
From the start, we knew that. We decided pretty immediately we were going to get somebody to sing the demo, which we haven't always done.
No. Yeah.
But we did in this case. And so we contacted Lydia Harrell from Boston. And we worked with Lydia before, so we knew what key we would want. But at that stage, I started putting instrumentation in, and I'd got this idea that going back to It Had to Be You, there was this idea of a slight feel of trad jazz in places I wanted to bring into the song.
Right.
And the reason I mention that now is that it affected my thoughts. I've got a real bug up my whatsit about intros and the importance of an intro in this kind of music. And it wasn't working, what I was doing. It felt a little formulaic. It felt too old again.
So what, too old again. So there was an original intro on the demo of the song, if you will.
Well, there was one you sent.
Right.
And then I re-introed it.
Okay.
And then
so for the Lydia version,
I re-introed it again with a kind of descending ba-da-da-da-ba-da-da-da.
Birds and bees, flowers and trees, like everything that belongs together, we're meant to be. Oh, who'd have believed? Like a river flows.
Which was fine, but it did feel quite
old again.
Ragtime, a little to me.
There you go.
The 2 against 3 kind of feel. I was just wasn't working for me, and it was annoying me. You know, you get that thing, and you're like, it's not right.
Well, Lydia did a great job on the vocal.
Oh yeah, this wasn't. It wasn't that, but it was too slow, wasn't it? When we got it back, it didn't feel
I remember
right.
when we listened to it, and we were like, something's different, something's not right. You know.
It felt really laid back. It felt like a mid-tempo tune, which was not, I think, where we were going with this.
We wanted it to have more oomph, if you will. Yeah.
Pizzazz.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. We come up with these 40s things. And,
we're so cutting edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But so at that stage, we rewrote the intro. I came up with this idea about 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up with this phrase in my head. My phone had died because I'd forgotten to plug it in, where I would normally step out and then just sing something in. I remember I actually, I took something and wrote this idea down, and then that morning went and immediately recorded a new intro. My idea for that was a much more sort of Tonight Show kind of, a Sinatra, much more declamatory intro, something that grabbed you from the...
Yeah, absolutely. Slamming.
Really slamming right from the beginning.
You picture someone walking on stage to that intro and then busted into the tune. Yeah.
Yeah, and that we recorded that, and we pretty immediately knew this is right.
Yeah.
This is exactly where we want to be.
And the tempo change was
with this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then we'd gone back then, so we're now in the third key. We've gone back
to the original.
To a key.
Was it the original or just
no? So we're now in the third key, back to your vocal. And by the way, we should say that when we sent this to Lydia to sing, the comedy of having to send it in her key with you singing like Alvin the Chipmunk always makes me feel good when I get up in the morning.
And to be clear, I didn't sing like Alvin the Chipmunk. We pitched my voice up to sound like
though?
Alvin the Chipmunk. I don't know. They'll never know.
Soon we were dancing out on the floor, slowly cheek to cheek. We had an affair, and I knew that I'd swear that I'd never be without you again.
Once we send this to Lydia, at that point, I've got to start creating paper. I've got to start scoring, even a lead sheet with chords, with a melody. But that's the first time that we've started to put pen to paper as opposed to something digital into Logic.
Yeah. So why was it important to maybe have another voice on the demo? Why?
You mean why Lydia and not you?
No, just why? What do you think our thought process was to go, well, let's get someone else to sing on this? Because we still had to pitch this song to, at this point, it was only you and I working on the song. We hadn't even presented it to the publisher yet, so I don't know. I was just.
Do you mean why get a female vocalist to sing the demo?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. I mean, for me, I wanted to hear what a female vocal sounded like on the song. I wanted to know quite how vibrant, how slamming it would sound. I think I probably wanted to hear and be able to present quite accurately how this would feel, because I felt pretty strongly about that song. We didn't do it for every song on the album. We did it for that song.
I think we did it for that song, yeah, and that was it. We didn't do it for any other songs.
And they never heard the vocal anyway.
And they never heard it anyway, which is so interesting.
Why do you think we did it? What was the point of it for you?
I agree. It's just something we hadn't talked about. And I think, I think we were probably just trying to be like, well, let's present this in a fashion that might, bring it up a level and be like, well, this is a female vocal. Here's a female singing the song.
Because I'm always aware that we're lucky enough when we work with Audio Network that these are not our dollars that we're spending.
Right.
And we've got to make sure that the idea is given the best chance of being presented in the best light. But also we've got to be clear that we're not leaving things to chance. We'll present it as a male vocal, and then it's a fait accompli. We say this is going to be a female vocal. They've never heard it that way. They still hadn't, as it turned out, but we had. At least we'd gone down those roads.
Well, and I think it is interesting just to have taken a step that we normally don't take, and that it brought a different kind of reward, right? We heard it then, and we were like, wow, okay, we got to change this, which we might not have gotten to that point if we hadn't heard another voice on it.
Once we got it back, we then made those changes. At that stage, once I heard the intro, once we sped it up, a good 10-15% made a big difference to the tune.
It became a totally different thing.
Well, actually, the biggest thing for me, which changed, you asked about arranging before, the biggest change to me is that the tune was in 4 at the beginning. At the speed that it was at, I would count that tune in 4. But once we sped it up, I started counting it in 2.
No, okay.
But that changes the way I arrange. because I start thinking about offbeats and syncopation in 2 that in a different way to the way that I think about it in 4.
Very interesting.
Which is why we ended up with a guitar riff. I mean, not a riff, but on the underscore, the guitar literally playing da da da, whereas in 4 I'd more likely to have da 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 da. So it's a different sound, that Freddie Green guitar. So that changed the underscore, which changes the feel of the way that you would then suggest to the pianist what you want. It's all about the rhythm section in that sense for me.
Yeah.
So, but we did that on the demo. We start. I say that we present a piano, bass, drums demo.
No.
That's not what we presented.
Oh no.
This is got MIDI. We've got horn lines. Some of that declamatory stuff. We were pretty close on the demo to a lot of where we ended up. At least enough.
Product,
at least enough to then, when we get to talking about our orchestrator down the line next time.
You have to listen through the craziness of a lot of our demos, not because they are MIDI and because there's horns on them, and we're just it's like,
I mean,
it's a demo.
I totally understand. I mean, yesterday Jeff was saying that the demos might
are
not be
crap.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
but I think on this product, we know we don't need to spend the time. It's just not necessary. They've got mature ears at Audio Network. They know what they're listening for. Yeah. If we're demoing something that's filmic or cinematic, they may be mature demos. We're quite capable of doing that. It's just that it's not necessary on this. It's not necessarily helpful. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So, but the horn lines that we're going to use may give a good idea of feel. It's all about the song. We've got to present that song as a song.
Yeah. And so where are we at here then?
Well, before we carry on, I've got a question for you that we didn't discuss, but out of interest. You passed me, I'm going to go right back. Just, we're talking a linear story, and I'm going to throw it back.
Okay.
You pass an idea.
Yeah.
We're 15 years into working together now, but even at 15 years, how easy is it to pass an idea and have somebody just change your idea, manipulate it, say they don't like it, move it? How do you find that process?
At this point, I'm not too worried about whether you like it or not. I hope you like it because I like it. If I get to the point where I finish it enough to send it to you, then I'm thinking, well, I hope he likes this because I think this could be something.
Yeah.
But I'm not too precious about. I mean, if you came back and said, in fact, I think you did numerous times on this project, said, this isn't working for me. Yeah, and I'll be like, fine, yeah.
But it's worth saying also on this project that we knew that we would overwrite, that we wrote 10, 11.
Yeah, which really isn't too. I mean, that's barely overwriting at all. But we wrote 10 and we ended up with 8. So
yeah, but we knew that we were going to write
12, but a
yeah,
couple.
We knew there were going to be a couple that weren't included.
Yeah.
So it does make it easier to say, look, this is a good idea maybe, but not for this.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
It's not a good idea.
Or it's, just shelved forever. But yeah, I just, I feel like at this point in my life and certainly in our collaboration, it's like I'm not going to worry about whether someone likes the work or not. I know what I do and we know what we do, and I'll just write another one,
Yeah, it's interesting being able to divorce yourself from that writing process. It took me some years to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Not to be, if somebody says they don't like it,
it's like
you don't like me.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I am that, and you don't like me. Okay, I'm going to worry about it.
Yeah.
But it is. I always find it a good indication when we send it, which is where we've got to in the story. This then went to the publisher.
Yeah.
And then we've got this anxious wait.
Right.
And I always know how I feel about that work. I don't know about you, by how much I care about if they came back and said, it's not for me that, and I'm not overly worried about that, that was probably a good indication.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
So we've got to the point of sending this.
We have finished our demo. We got to the point where we liked it enough to send it to the publisher to see what they say. Wow.
Yep.
I wonder what's going to happen.
How long did it take? Who knows? How long from the voice memo to the demo?
My guess is it was over a month would be my thought.
Yeah, I think 6 weeks is probably, bearing in mind it went through several vocals, changes. and thoughts about intros and
I mean, there
it
was
just
lots
maybe
of tinkering.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I might have done that voice memo when we first got the brief, long before we even started working on it. So,
But it wasn't the only song you were working. You don't work on one and then sit and wait.
I don't work on one and sit wait. No, yeah, we were doing other projects and doing other stuff. So.
Yeah, but on that album, you probably were working on
Could
other
be.
tunes for
Absolutely, yeah.
for that album.
But yeah, so who knows? It was a long process.
So
It's a long process.
it is.
Yes.
Next time, we're
Next
going to
time.
talk recording.
What happens next? Recording and what?
Well, actually,
Just
we're going to talk about what comes
Pre-recording
Yeah.
and recording. Yes.
Yeah, because that's part of the thing.
So
It's been a lot of fun.
it's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much to Audio Network for letting us use the music.
Absolutely.
And hope you watch the next one too.
See you next time.
Bye.
And now the full demo of Who'd Have Believed off of our album Keep On Movin', streaming now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Birds and bees, flowers and trees, like everything that belongs together, we're meant to be. Oh, who'd have believed? Like rivers flow through canyons slow, we dance through songs written for young lovers. Lucky me, oh, who'd have believed? When we first met, I realized you were way out of my league, but I took a chance that you would romance with me. Soon we were dancing out on the floor, slowly cheek to cheek. What an affair! In that moment I'd swear I'd never be without you again. The sun and moon, the warmth of June, your hand in mine, promising forever. Who'd have believed? Oh, who'd have believed? When we first met, I realized you were way out of my league, but I took a chance that you would romance with me. Soon we were dancing out on the floor, slowly cheek to cheek. What an affair! In that moment I'd swear that I'd never be without you again. The sun and moon, the warmth of June, your hand in mine, promising forever. Who'd have believed?